Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our world.
Hey everyone. So we are notifying, we had so many people sign up for this. So sending out notifications, letting everybody know that we are on live now. Watching the episode 3 of Sister Wives recap. So we're gonna let a few people jump on before we get started. Because this episode was
Awesome.
nuts.
It was eye-opening for sure.
Yeah.
So, oh, there she is.
I think it's interesting how parents can make everything all about them. And I'm sure I have done it as a parent too. Made everything all about me. But this episode is unreal with how much they make everything about themselves as the parents. Oh, and it's the eldest son's birthday, and we're gonna make it all about. I can't go.
Hello, eldest son.
Yeah, I see that my oldest son is on. So we're gonna give it just a couple more. I see our numbers are starting to climb a little bit. Thank you guys. Thank you everybody for joining us. Oh, it's been a crazy day today with grandbabies all day, but makes it such a great Monday. So this episode was very infuriating for me because
Should we introduce ourselves?
yeah, let's introduce ourselves first. Yeah, it's the oldest son, Logan and Michelle's wedding. I was just saying my oldest child looks like he's on the live. So hi there, son. But yeah, the oldest son, Logan and Michelle's wedding. It's insane. So if you guys don't know who we are, I am Melanie and my husband Cory, and I started a podcast to talk about the lifestyle that we grew up in, polygamy. My dad is the current prophet. We were both born and raised in the AUB, and but we do not practice polygamy ourselves. We were just born and raised into it, and we've never lived polygamy. And I was married once before and have 3 children when we got married, and then we have 2 children together. And so yeah, we're just talking about our experiences and then recapping the Sister Wives experiences. So we grew up with the Sister Wives. I grew up with Christine, Mary, and then I, of course, met Cody after he came off of his mission. I didn't know Janelle until after she married Cody. And Cory grew up down the street from Robin.
Grew up in Pinesdale.
Yep, grew up down up in Montana.
Up in Montana.
Yep. And so we just wanted to recap this episode with you guys. Hopefully everybody's seen the episode so that you can kind of understand what we're talking about. But yeah, it's funny too because they're all talking about meeting up and going to Logan's wedding. And, I have an ex-husband and it ended really poorly. And we went to the wedding, our oldest son's wedding, and it was fine. Everything was great.
I'd even go to his wedding.
You'd go to Joe's wedding?
Yeah. Oh, your ex-husband's.
My ex-husband's wedding, yeah. He would go to my ex-husband's wedding.
Excited for him to get married.
Yeah. And so part of this episode that's so infuriating to me is that Cody just goes off about how everyone's culpable. Everyone is like guilty. Everyone, that they it's only his heart that's broken is basically what he sounds like when he's talking about it. It drives me crazy. And I think it's really sweet the way that they did respect Logan's, not wanting people to be there. Yeah. And what's interesting too is so many of my family members are on a lot of these. Yeah. And what's interesting too is so many of my family members are on a lot of these episodes because I'm so related to so many of these people. Let's see. So yeah, so now the first part of the episode is just basically Cory, or I keep doing that. Sorry, babe. Cory and Cody. It's just Cody just going off about how he doesn't even want to go to the wedding. Oh, thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. He doesn't even want to go to the wedding because he's going to get treated so poorly. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sarah. And so that's the part that's so sad to me, is that even has to be an issue. But I understand it because I've been there too. I've been there where I didn't want to go. So Mitch and Aspen's wedding, they do a whole recap on Mitch and Aspen's wedding. And my grandmother just recently passed, who is Mitch's grandmother too. So she is in this episode. So that was really good for me to be able to see her. And there she is right there. And so she was such an amazing lady. My dad married her oldest. Logan is Janelle's son. Yep. And so my dad married her oldest daughter, and then Mitch's dad is the next child. So we share a grandma together. And Aspen's wedding was just beautiful. I think it's sad when the families get torn apart like this, because now they really can't all go to these weddings together without there being drama.
Divorce is ugly.
Yeah.
All the way around.
Yeah. Mitch and I aren't really cousins. My dad just married Mitch's dad's sister, but she's not my mother. She's another mother. But yeah, so my grandma is in this episode. A lot of my siblings are in this episode too. They're all at the wedding. But
why you call her grandma?
Oh, because I was 2 when my dad married his third wife. I was 2, and so she just always treated me as a granddaughter. So, and we always talked about stuff. And I've got somebody's moderating for us. Thank you. I think my daughter is. So yeah, I guess through a roundabout way, we are cousins through marriage, but not blood related at all. So, yeah, we're not blood related in any way, shape, or form. But I do have siblings that are his blood related cousins. So, but yeah, and then just the way that he's hostile. He says in here that things are hostile between him and Christine. That's really sad to me, because Janelle has to worry more about all of this stuff happening than she has to worry about her son getting married. And that's ridiculous and sad to me that that's the case. And then Robin says the kids don't need to be involved in the parents' issues, but
Yep.
That's 100% on the parents. Thank you so much, Lisa. Go ahead.
No, and I agree. When the parents are talking in here and they're saying this should be between the parents and not the kids, I 100% agree with that. But then you watch through the episode, and especially last episode too.
Yeah.
Who brought in their children to defend them? Or
put them on national TV to defend them.
Defend them. So if you say you're not going to involve the kids, and then yet you go and involve the kids.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're adults now, though. They're not really kids anymore, but they are, and I can definitely say that it's hard to go through. Mm-hmm. I'm not even going to say that I handled my divorce in any way, shape, or form carefully. The problem with polygamy is when these men get wounded, they are mean, and they can get really mean. So, yeah, we're going through this week's episode. Yep. I'm not sure how much he sees. Truly, I doubt much. Yeah. Yeah. The kids have their own issues, and they want to discuss with Cody, and he won't discuss their trauma. And that's very true.
That is the majority of the problem. He wants an apology.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. He's the problem in most of this. So.
And it's infuriating to watch it, because it's so sad to me. It should really truly be about the kids. Somebody says, I think Cody's division played a part in his son's death. We're not even going to touch the death at all, just because it's kind of a tricky situation. It's a touchy subject. And so we're not even going to touch that one. Sorry. Can you can a woman live out her whole life as a single woman in the AUB? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you don't have to get married
Just
if
like
you
a
don't want
man.
to. Just like a man
A
can.
man can live his whole life in the AUB and not get married.
Yeah. Yeah. So Aaron says it was disgusting to watch him call Ari loyal for repeating things about Christine. Oh my gosh. I almost threw something at the television when I watched that. It was so infuriating. And then he says Robin and I were put out in a corner. There was a picture posted online. Everyone saw it. And they were not put in a corner. They just weren't on the front row. And so he makes it sound like they were outcast. They were not outcast. They were on the second row. They just didn't get to sit on the first row where the parents went. I mean, I try to recognize Robin's own trauma and ND, but these last 2 episodes were so toxic. Yeah. And you can see that is one thing I loved about Janelle on this episode is she absolutely calls out the poor parenting. Yeah.
He gets frustrated, which fine, you can get frustrated. He's frustrated that there are certain family members that are loyal to him, and yet he will be rude and frustrated about another family member who's loyal to a mother or a mediator in the middle, and he wants loyalty only to him. So,
I know,
which is mind-boggling.
It blows my mind that he said that. I mean, how old is that little girl now? I think she's 8, maybe. And so it's frustrating. She's loyal to him. She's 8 years old. And then when they talk about how she clings onto his leg when he goes to leave, and so then he can't be gone for her. I mean, that's just, I'm sorry, but when, I had 34 brothers and sisters, there's just no way around that. Your dad's not going to be there. So no, we do not currently live polygamy. We've never lived polygamy. Are members of the FLDS supposed to wear their undergarments all the time? And if they are...
we're not FLDS.
We're not FLDS. We're AUB. We came from the AUB, the same one that the Browns came from. And we were required to wear them all the time.
We're not even AUB.
We're not AUB.
We
were
left
just,
when we became adults.
Yeah. So, we were just born and raised in it. So I left at 25 for good, and you left at 24?
Yeah, I was moving out and coming down here when they gave me my diploma, graduated AUB, and said I was no longer welcome there. So
yeah. And are there favorite children? Absolutely. So another thing that's really sad about this episode to me is maybe their kids don't watch it, but the way he tries to show that him and Robin and their children are a functioning family with family game nights, that really is, that can happen, and it really is true. Like, my dad had a video camera, and I just happened to digitalize a lot of the videos. And the way that he is at one wife's house, I have a video of them at dinner. He's so completely different at their house, and he's kind, and he's nice, and he is gentle. And when he would come to my mom's house, I don't remember one time my dad coming home without me getting beat. And so we were terrified every time he came home. We would hide in our bedrooms. We would never come out because we were so afraid of doing anything wrong. It says, why do your parents disown you when you leave? It's kind of like any, what?
Yeah, some of them do. Some of them, it depends on how they believe.
Yeah.
Or some parents don't. My parents didn't disown me, so.
Yeah.
Which I was kind of lucky, so.
Yeah, and my parents didn't completely disown me. I mean, it was hard for them when I left because I had been married in the polygamous community. And so it was really hard for them when I left. But, so somebody put my grandma's name up there. Yeah, so that was my grandma. Yeah, I did a TikTok about her passing away and going to the funeral. She was amazing, just an amazing person. And so... yeah, it definitely, my parents didn't completely disown me, but there's a lot of abuse there. And then when he says it's total civil war, that's on him. That's on him. The phone, honestly, the one thing that Robin did say on this episode was the fact that he needs to go camp out on their doors to try to fix this. And I absolutely agree that he's the one who needs to fix the relationships with everybody. And then Janelle's kind of just broke my heart on this episode, because you can tell she's like really deep in thought about a lot of things, and she does hold true to her faith still, and she does really want to be a part of, you know, a whole family dynamic. And so it is sad. To me, she feels like my heart goes out to her in this episode, you know, in the way that she is so sad. And you can tell she's so sad. And Christine too, divorces are hard, and especially in polygamy, divorces are hard. I feel like they're even worse in polygamy than they are outside of polygamy, because he's going through all these. You know, my dad's first wife left when he was married. He was dating his third wife, and she said no, she didn't want to be a part of it, so she left before he married the third wife. And that was I have a lot of trauma memories from back then. But yeah, they talk about how polarizing and how it can literally split the family in half. And I've seen that happen, where some family members take one side, the other family members take the other side. So we're talking about sister wives, and the season 3 episode. And no, we are not currently polygamous. My dad is the current prophet or leader of the AUB, which is where Cody Brown and his family came from. So I grew up with Mary and Janelle. And so the fact that he doesn't know that him and Mary have officially broken up is mind-blowing to me. I mean, the amount of ignorance that they claim. Thank you so much, Venus. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
It's mind-blowing, the amount of, I don't understand. I don't know why this happened. I don't know, I don't know if we're completely separate or not. So it's either you are or you're not, So am I still in contact with Mary or Janelle? I've actually never been real close to Janelle ever. We tried to work with her a little bit when she was in real estate, and we sent her a couple of, we worked a little bit back and forth while she was in real estate. And then Mary and I, we'll still chat here and there. What does your dad think of Cody? Well, last I talked to him, they were just happy to part ways. So, and I think the feeling was mutual for the Browns, as well as, oh, hey, Lisa. Oh, nice. Hi, Abby. So thank you. Hi, Jan.
She came on too.
Oh, Alicia is on here too. Oh, great. Well, I have 3 children on this live then. We have 5 children total. 3 of them are on this live. So hi, children. And so, yeah, I think it's really heartbreaking, because Cody, I don't know. One of the things that he says a lot in this episode, and he said it in a couple of other episodes too, is that he feels like people try to have a good time in front of him. It's almost like they're trying to rub it in that they're having a better time than he is. And yet I feel, hi parents, hi sweetie. And yet I feel like that's what this whole scene with the game and the Jenga night, that's what I feel like this whole scene is let me show the rest of my family what they're missing out on, that they could be having with me, but I'm having it with Robin and her kids, because my other family's not loyal enough to me.
And
you what?
We're happy.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Kids really pick up and learn a lot from their parents. They do. They come up and know exactly how their parents and the dynamics of everything. And so he's talking in here about how one of the girls was not wanting him to go and just wanted to see daddy, and that is cool, that is, but it breaks the other kids' hearts. It is one of those things where they're almost fighting for who's the best child. And so, and I was lucky because I was the favorite child growing up, so.
You really were. You were, and I was
not. So I didn't
not.
have to fight for it, but yeah. But there is that dynamic within where even the kids are wanting to be the favorite children, and usually they
Yeah.
win out when it's a favorite mom. And they're being obedient, and they're, what's the word he used for them? Loyal to him, that they're loyal children and loyal, and so all the other children that aren't loyal or that get frustrated with him are disloyal and don't deserve his
Yeah.
love.
And I think that's just disgusting that he literally refers to his 8-year-old or 9-year-old, however old she is. She's can't be over 10, as loyal because she talked negatively about Christine. And then he gets up there and he just
Can't do that. You
constantly-
can't do that.
yeah.
But she's seeing it. She's
Right.
at least loyal.
Right. It's
So-
it's very disappointing. And we've said this in our lives before, that the biggest thing that I think we have such a hard time with is the kids are collateral damage. So, is it common for men who grew up with an aggressive upbringing to see women's, I can't read the rest of that message. I wish that they would let us open up that message. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Sorry, I can't quite see that whole message. So is it,
To see women's
to common
existence as an attack.
as an attack on them?
I don't know what that means. But
Yes, I think it is. So it's common for men who grew up with an aggressive upbringing to see women's existence as an attack towards them. Yeah, I would say definitely. Every single thing Cody does is he's a victim of some way.
Well, that's the interesting part about this is who's going to be the victim? Is it Cody or Robin?
Yeah,
Are both playing the biggest victims on this episode.
you're right.
Where the other ladies are just like, screw it, I'm not going to be nice.
Right, right.
So,
Right. And so he does. He claims that he needs loyalty, and yet everything he does to all of his other children in this episode screams anything but loyalty, and it's heartbreaking to watch.
well, it's interesting because I've watched, I think, a couple seasons back, and he was so ticked that the wives and that the children were so disrespectful to Robin, and he was not going to allow that kind of behavior against Robin. She needed to. None of the kids or none of the wives could talk negatively about her, and yet he just showed. He might have said, "Well, I've disciplined her. She can't talk about Christine that way."
But she heard it
she's
somewhere.
heard it somewhere, and she's talking about it.
yeah.
And so, and you can say all the pretty words like Robin and Cody are saying, but their actions are the opposite of it. These kids' actions are the opposite of what they're frustrated with, play frustration. And that's why they're frustrated, because, well, the other wives are saying negative things behind our back.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you guys are too, and it's evident in your game night here.
Yeah,
so.
it's coming out in the children. And yes, we do upload these to YouTube when we're done. I don't edit them or anything. You're gonna get them
Sorry, I gotta
uploaded
read
exactly
mine.
the way that they happen. So and it is very true. Okay, when he says that, Christine said, "Oh, thank you so much, Beth." When Christine says her kids struggled to go over to Robin's house because they were seeing a functional marriage, or they were seeing Cody be in love with Robin, and that's not what they saw at their house. And then Cody comes back and says, "Yeah, I was deeply in love with Christine at her house." I can absolutely speak for that to be true in my own experience, because my dad would go and he'd be lovey-dovey with one wife, and he'd come to our house, and he would lock himself in the bedroom. After we all got beat, he would lock himself into the bedroom, and then my parents would just spend the whole evening in the bedroom. And we never got to see them or hang out with them. We spent very, very little time with them. So I feel like he did that game night. I feel like that was very staged
Yeah, probably.
to hurt his other kids, in my opinion. And I've watched men do that. What are you saying? Yeah, probably too?
It's probably filmed more recent. So
Yeah, 'cause she
add
looks a
into
lot-
that.
yeah.
Because the kids look like the adults.
Yeah.
The adult kids in here.
Yeah. And so yeah, it's in front. How did they afford a $3 million mansion? I don't know. I know nothing about that. I don't know anything about their finances or anything. So, I mean, they all have a TV show and it's the #1 TLC show. So maybe they're starting to get paid more than they ever did before. So I honestly don't know. I think it's interesting that everyone has always complained that they don't film inside Robin's house, but they're filming in one tiny, tiny little room. And it feels like maybe...
Well, they're taking feedback because now they're filming inside the house.
I know, but it's just the one room.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
Yeah,
and it looks
yeah.
so tiny. Like you got to have a camera crew in there. You got to have all this other stuff in there.
The main living room, I thought, wasn't it?
No, no, it's a tiny little room. So, yeah. And the way he says that he talks about, yeah, here comes the loyalty part. What did you say? Oh, thanks, Maddie Lynn. Thank you guys. Let's talk about Cody's so-called job. Attending a sale 3 times a year doesn't support a family. Yeah, I really don't know what Cody does for a living. I don't. That's, you know, I haven't heard. I know a lot of polygamists say that they work with him still, so he does a lot of that kind of stuff. So so we're at the part now, we're just letting it play in the background so it kind of can refresh our mind as we're walking through it. But when he says Ariella, I want to go back to that just because I had a sister who was exactly that same way, that she's clinging onto his leg and saying, don't leave me, don't leave me. I had a sister that was exactly that same way. And my dad would literally spend 3 weekends out of the month at that wife's house with that wife and those kids. And then the other wives got to alternate the other one weekend. And so I absolutely believe when they're saying in here that Cody spends the majority of his time at one wife's house. Yeah. So I absolutely believe that. And he probably doesn't see that. Thank you so much, Kyle. Thank you guys. Yeah. He probably just doesn't see that. So, oops, come on. And
yeah, they're adults. So
what are you saying? Oh,
says the older kids are unsafe and never invites them. Well,
yeah. I wonder who's emotionally unsafe here.
Poor parenting, right?
Yeah, it is poor parenting. And I love that Janelle calls them out for the poor parenting. It is. I'm sorry. But I get that she wants her dad to be around her, but you chose this lifestyle and you chose to marry a man and reproduce with him and have 2 extra children with him when he already had 17 children.
The interesting part is there are rules. He doesn't want any of the kids talking negative about the wives is what it is
Right.
here, and he gets frustrated, but he'll enforce those rules pretty harshly on one set of kids, which
Right.
is fine. But with the other set of kids, it's more of a nice, sweet talking to, and you can't talk about her like that.
Yeah.
But did he mean it? They probably heard him. The kids hear everything parents say.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah.
And
we have to apologize to our kids because
Yeah.
going through my divorce, I did not handle it the way that if I could go back and fix and change the way that I handled some of that, I tried to be very conscious of it. But I mean, sometimes it's in your face and there's not much you can do about it. But it is very true. I really wanted to point out the fact that it is true. He will go to one person's house and be a completely different person than he is when he goes to another person's house. Now, in your family, it was a little bit different because you guys, everyone lived in one house. So he had to be almost the same, right?
Yeah, he was. Whenever he was out in the open, I don't know what they did elsewhere, but when they were out in the open, it was just our dad. So
yeah. And see, in my house, my dad at one time said to my mom, your family is my whipping post. And he would literally come home and beat us and spank us every single time. One of my podcasts, I talk about this, and my dad calls me and he's like, do you really feel like I beat you? And I said, absolutely. Every single time you came home, you would beat us. And he was like, I just used corporal punishment. I didn't feel like I was beating you guys. And I'm like, Dad, we were like tiny. And so I've had these conversations with him, but he wouldn't spank the other wives' children because she did not allow it. And so,
prove of that.
Yeah, he wouldn't. And that's the sad part is that Robin literally came into this family knowing that there were 17 other children or however many they had at the time. And she chose to reproduce with this man. And wants her kids to be so codependent on him. Like it's bad parenting. Bravo to Janelle. So, and then we go into McKelty's birth, and one of the things that they talk about in here is home births versus hospital births. Home births are extremely popular in polygamy. I had all of my children at home. I did have one in the hospital only because my midwife was only delivering in the hospital at the time. And that was our first one together. And I was literally in the hospital less than 24 hours. I think we were in there like 19 hours. We went in, had her, and then came right back home because I wanted her to be a part of the older 3 children. And so it's just more healing and comforting in your own home. And then our last one we had, so Cory got to experience both a hospital birth and a home birth, but my older 3 I had at home. And so that's very common. Christine, they always talk about Christine coming from royalty. Well, her grandpa was the local midwife, doctor who delivered all of the babies, and before he became the prophet of the AUB. And so he delivered Cory, he delivered me, and he delivered 2,000 or 3,000 babies, I want to say. And so home births are extremely popular amongst, and I don't think it's just polygamous people that they're really popular around. I think it's just, yeah. So no, I never had epidurals, did everything completely natural. AUB fathers have a hard time with the kids getting older and standing up for, absolutely they do. Yeah, they absolutely have a really hard time with the fathers or with the kids growing up and then even having an opinion about anything. So, but yeah, being in your own home, you just heal faster and easier. And
sister.
In my experience, it is. So is it common in polygamy to have parents come during the birth? Most people, it's just a spouse. Yeah, I saw that on Solomon's birth, and I would never, I had women midwives because I would never have another man in the room. I did with my hospital baby. There was a male doctor there, but for me, it was, having a man there is not, obviously he was there, but
my sister,
that's about it. So yeah, I don't think it's very common to have, my sister that's just younger than me, my dad was at her first birth, and I thought that was weird. Like, I would never do that. So, somebody says my mom was there. Absolutely never would I want my dad in the room. How would you feel if your dad was in the room, or my dad was in the room?
I'd be weirded out. I would never go to my daughter's. I'd be outside to support and do it, but I don't want to be in there. That's her husband's job. So
yeah, the AUB
it'd be awkward.
Yeah, I think there were a lot of issues with Robin's stepdad and boundaries. Possibly, he was a really good man. I didn't know him personally, but Cory did.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I would never have my dad there. I don't know, I have 2 daughters on here right now. Would you guys have dad be there at your birth? Well, he wouldn't come, but yeah. And so the AUB is the Apostolic United Brethren. It's a polygamous cult here in Utah that the Browns came from. Cory's little sister said I would die first. Yeah, I would not have my dad there. I feel like you can see where these small children get their codependency from, and they're not very secure and solid in who they are. And these are just my observations, but they don't seem very secure in who they are. Where the other brown children, all of them, seem very, very secure,
confident in themselves, ready to move out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And then you've got,
Yeah.
What Jordan Peterson call it? But a mother that just kind of keeps her kids around all the time.
The helicopter mom type thing, where she's like over the top of them all the time. Oh, and I do think, we're trying to point out some of the positives.
Devouring mother.
The devouring mother. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true, huh? So one of the things I really did like about this episode that I'm really super appreciative of, because I do want to point out some of the positive things about polygamy. I love that Robin went to support McKelty and that she didn't have any other agenda but to be there to support McKelty. I think that is amazing of Robin to do that. She put herself in an awkward situation with Christine because McKelty was more important to her. And so honestly, I feel like that is amazing. And yes, she got dramatic. Thank you so much, user. Send us 87222. Thank you. I can't see your whole.
Thank you, user.
I know.
It's not identifying yourself. That's awesome.
No, yeah. But yeah, I definitely feel like I understand where Robin's coming from with the emotion, because there are things that we're taught to hold sacred and value as women in the polygamous group. It's so funny because it feels so polarizing. You have one side of it where you're just like, every woman could go out and steal your husband away and be there, and then you have the other side of it where these women nurture and take care of each other. And so that's where Robin's emotions are coming from, because it's supposed to be a very sacred event to be able to share these moments with your sister wife. And so I understand that too, but I just think it's amazing that she put all that aside and showed up for McKelty. And I think it's amazing that because Christine is her mom. And so I just think it's amazing that she did that. Isabella's going away party Isabel is, in my opinion, Robin did it to show Christine McKelty values her over Christine. So, I mean, I get that a lot of people don't like Robin, and believe me, I can totally see why that they don't like her. But in this religion, it is taught that when you can show up for your sister wife or one of the children, it doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it can be very tender and very sweet. So, yeah.
I was proud of Christine also.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
She did awesome in there.
Stepping aside and letting him do it. The part that killed me in that whole situation is that Cody's over there like, oh, Christine and Robin are together. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, all of a sudden he's lost his sense of control and can't be there to control the narrative. And this is one of the things that happens, in my opinion, in polygamy so hard, is this man every polygamist I know will pit a wife against another wife. They'll pit children against children. And then that way the focus is on them and their argument, not on him and whatever he's doing. And so, no, we are not a part of the AUB at all. We were born and raised in the AUB, and we both left in our 20s. So, somebody says Christine always puts her children above her own feelings. I believe that too. I feel like you can see that.
You can tell I'm not in the AUB because I'm wearing a free t-shirt.
It's not free. Oh, I make fun of him about wearing free t-shirts. That's all how co-parenting should be. Whatever is best for the kids, leave the feeling. And I absolutely agree with Whitney right there. She said that's how co-parenting should be. Whatever's best for the kids, leave your feelings out of it. Absolutely. But these men get so wounded when a woman stands up for herself and takes a step out of it that they literally can't. It's funny to watch my parents go through their separation right now. It's been really hard because they're just, they're both very much all about themselves right now. Robin's comment about birth seems to jab at Christine holding first. I think what she meant by that, in my opinion, I could be wrong, is that she just held Archer first and Christine got Ace first. I don't think that there was like, I got to hold the baby first, but I could be wrong. I think that she was just pointing out that which child she held and which one Christine held. But I mean, I could be wrong. But Cody wasn't born and raised in the AUB. That's what confuses me. Oh, but believe me, you can pick up on that misogyny pretty freaking quick and that patriarchy pretty freaking quick.
He was born in a similar society. So
similar society, Mormonism.
All the same teachings and everything like that. So
somebody says, are your parents AUB? Yes. My dad's the current leader. My dad's the current prophet. So Robin does these things to herself. She went, but then makes us remember by saying, I'm helping the most. And that's true. I mean, it is true. I really struggle with a lot of that kind of stuff because it's like, look at me, look at all my good deeds, no good deed goes unnoticed. That's for sure. Robin's never been there for any other child but McKelty. It doesn't appear that way. The way that they edit the show, it definitely doesn't appear that she's there for a lot of the other. Is there only one prophet or in the AUB or multiple, just one. So my dad's the head honcho right now.
Well, there's supposed to be the leader of a quorum of 12.
Right.
So.
Right.
But he would be the leader at this moment in time.
Right. And one of the things too that I want to point out that's so good about, because I'm never going to be an advocate for polygamy ever. I just think it's wrong on every level. I'm never going to be an advocate for it, but I want to point out some of the beautiful things that do occur. Thank you so much, Jamie.
Yep.
Is that now McKelty has twins, and now, I mean, everyone's going to step in and help her. All of the siblings, whether they're Janelle's, whether they're Christine's, they're all going to step in and help, you know? Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
What he's saying?
But just Cody and Robin are ignoring the rest of the family, and then they claim they're being left out.
Amen.
It's one of the, look at us, we're victims over here. Well, wait a minute. How come you didn't go say hi? Well, because we're victims. Leave me alone.
Right.
I'm a victim.
Right. Somebody says she could have just held one and she held, yeah. And so this is one of the things I want to point out. I've done a bunch of TikToks on different wife personalities, and this is one. Because you're always in competition with another woman all the time. It's like you learn to say things in a way that are very manipulative and make you stand out above your sister wife or a potential wife. And I think just Robin has learned that to a T.
Mm-hmm. Grow up in it, you learn how each one of the mothers,
yep.
how mothers and children get attention.
Yep.
And he was just doing a master class on how to get attention.
Right.
Calling him daddy or holding onto his legs. So
yeah.
I don't think Mel's ever called her dad daddy. So
no.
It took me 3 years of dating her married to her before she'd call me daddy.
Jeez, what the hell? Can't say that kind of stuff. No, my husband was, oh, sorry. No, my husband was not married before.
Sorry, kid.
So, but the thing is that Robin never lived a polygamous lifestyle. She never lived with any, yeah, they did. Yeah, she did. She grew up in Montana and they did.
She grew up in a polygamous.
She grew up, both of her dads, her
house.
bio dad and her stepdad were both polygamous. But the thing is, oh, yeah, so they were both, we're looking at the TV. Sorry, we have the TV going on.
Yeah,
we have the episode going on behind us.
So I'm trying to read.
Yeah.
Read.
Yeah.
Read.
It just is, just because then we like to have it playing in the background so it refreshes us.
Thanks, Jenna.
Yeah, thanks, Jenna. He does have, somebody on one of our lives before was like, I love this dark humor. It's so bad. And Josh says, do you know about her ex-husband? Yeah, he grew up down the street from Cory. So, yeah, they did live separately. I lived separately too.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I was 16 and then my dad doubled up all of his wives. And then we all lived with another wife at that point. And then I got married a year later. So I got married a week after I turned 17. Is your dad mad at you that you speak? Oh, I'm sure he is.
Loves it. He loves it.
No, he's like,
Gets
you're
all
making me look like
excited.
an asshole. I'm like, no, you are doing a good job of that. Does her ex have cancer? Yeah, we've answered this a couple of times, but I believe that he's in full remission now.
It's a lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad right now, my dad has had 8 wives total. Right now he's got 5 active wives and my mom has left him. So 6 that he still claims.
I don't know if Robin's first husband lived
no,
polygamy,
he doesn't.
But yeah, he's a cool kid.
As
Cool
far as
guy.
I know, he doesn't.
He's
yeah.
a kid to me because he's way younger. So
Yeah, Cory's actually really good friends with a lot of
some of his brothers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And him. I like him.
I didn't even know what my favorite color was at 17. Yeah, well, in polygamy, you don't waste any time. You get childbearing years and you get married. So, was Robin's first husband nice? Does he still He was very, very nice. Yeah. Just such a sweetheart. Does her son live with his dad? I don't know. I've wondered where her son is too. So I honestly don't know. But yeah, and then they bring their babies home and it's really sweet because Aspen's there to help and Savannah will be there to help and it's really sweet. Isn't Christine related to Robin's first husband? I've heard that somewhere. Yeah, probably through marriage, I would say. I've heard that somewhere. How'd they get him to sign over rights? I have no idea. I heard there was a lot of threatening going on there, but I have no idea. Is he that bad? How Rob? No. Robin. So it says, is he as bad as Robin portrayed him to be? No. But I think everyone comes out of a divorce situation with their side of the story, and the other person, they have to make the other person the villain in order for them to feel okay about leaving, you know. Preston's mom and Christine's dad are siblings. Preston's mom and Christine's dad are siblings, are they? If they are, they're not from the same mom. They're from different moms.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, if they are, they're not from the same mom, because I know all Christine's dad's siblings. So, yeah. Robin did those ladies a favor. I actually agree with that, Alex. Thank you. Robin did those ladies a favor. Look how happy they are now, and they're thriving, and they're living like one of their best lives now. And so I agree with that. I'm so glad you know about all this. I have watched the show since it started. Yeah, we haven't watched a lot of it. We watched like the first year or two on it. Join my team. Thanks, Kelly.
Thanks.
And it just would infuriate us. So we couldn't really watch it because it felt so fake and it felt so staged. A lot of it. Thanks, Joshna. That's an awesome name. Thank you. So yeah, we didn't watch a lot of it. Okay, here's another thing right here. Cody gets on here and says, you know, when I had my first child, we had 3 wives and nobody had children. And then we had our first child and there was jealousy amongst one of the wives. Thanks, Diane. Thank you so much. And that blows my mind because he gets so upset that people are talking bad and negatively about him, Janelle or Christine or whoever. And then he goes and he says shit like this. Oh, there was jealousy. And Christine's like, no, there wasn't jealousy. That kid was amazing. I was in my first year of polygamy trying to survive my first year of polygamy. And then he portrays it to the world as if she's crazy with jealousy because Janelle had a kid first. Like, who's the shit talker here? So Cody played each wife against each other because he loves the chaos. I think he does too. And it takes the focus off of him and puts it on everyone else. Oh, and yeah, I just think it's so infuriating. I mean, Christine has done nothing but love these kids. And she was literally trying to survive her first year of polygamy, which is the hardest year. Yeah, his name's David, but he goes by his middle name. Yeah, Preston. Yeah, Robin's ex is named David, but he goes by Preston. Yeah. And so, and I mean, that's a part of the biggest part is so frustrating is that 90% of the behavior is just shitty behavior because of what's going on in their relationships, wouldn't you say? Not because the moms are jerks to the kids. Although it's not till they get older, and that's actually probably not true. I have a mom who is pretty abusive just because she hated my mom. Let's see, him saying she wouldn't mother Robin's kids when she was crushed by Robin. I know. Robin wouldn't let her mother her children. She raised those kids. 8 of them were under the age of 4. Right. Christine loved those kids. What were you saying?
Just her and Janelle are the center of that family. Those kids all hover around them, not Robin's family, because Robin has isolated her children, have told her children over and over again that they should be afraid, that the other kids don't like them, that I'm scared for you guys emotionally. You got all this feedback of kids going, oh, should we be emotionally afraid that?
Yeah.
And so it's just this constant, the devouring mother
I love that
technique where she constantly makes them worried, and I got to stay safe in this nice little safe family. So
well, and that's what
I'll never leave.
That's one of the things that we were saying earlier is the fact that when you're growing up in this, you learn how to talk. You learn how to use your speech as a form of manipulation.
Yeah.
Because when you say stuff like that, is she being safe? Then the little kid goes, oh shoot, was she not safe? Is that mother not safe? Am I not safe? And then and then you put that doubt, and it just seed planting of emotional abuse, and it's straight up emotional abuse. Yeah, and then when she gets a nanny, stays home and doesn't work. Yeah, at 17, my kids were still babies. Do you feel ready? No. In fact, I probably have made. So somebody says at 17, Callie says that we were still babies. Did you feel ready? How common is this an age to start in the AUB? Not very. Like most of the time, they prefer that you wait till you're 18. But my circumstances were a little bit more extenuating, and so yeah, I got married 8 days into 17, and so it was not easy. I forgot I was going with a thought, and I forgot where
I got married 6 months into 30, so
yeah, you're welcome.
Yep.
It's funny how Cody can't understand why Christine and Janelle are friends now. I know. Well, when you're not sleeping with the same man, you probably have a lot more in common than you think.
And it was kids. They've got a friendship because they both love those kids amazingly, and they're wanting to still create that time for the kids to be able to come together and have fun and do dinners together, play games together,
Right.
all of those fun, exciting memories. They want to kind of recreate those. So
Right. And honestly, I really do feel like it is very abusive when they plant these little seeds in these, especially these smaller children. It's literally emotional abuse. And that doesn't just happen in polygamy. That happens in all sorts of societal arrangements. But in polygamy, it's worse, I think, because you have dozens of different personalities and dozens of emotional dynamics going on. And you learn how to manipulate really quick. Let's see, we're going to answer a couple of your guys' questions. So that was basically the recap of that show. I think it's just horrible, honestly, the way, I think it's horrible the way he does these things in front of his kids, like the family game night, taking Aurora to get her ears pierced. Like, your kids are going to see this. They're going to hear this. I just think that it's awesome that you're loving your children, but just love them all.
Well, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing that he's doing that. But what he's kind of showing is this is the favorite. Well, this is his only family now.
Right.
Because he's shown in past seasons, and he might have, when the family was together, he might have showed up and went to the games and did that stuff. But he has shown that, I think COVID brought out the ugly side of him, because then he wouldn't even go and be with his daughter through a surgery and things like that when they needed him. So, and why? Because she wasn't on the floor crying.
Right.
You got to just check in.
But she was crying in a couple of the episodes, and she was like, "No, Dad, I really need you there." And he was like, "Sorry, you can't be there."
Yep.
Dismissed. And she was dismissed.
You'll do fine. Your mom's there.
Yeah.
And it does. That's like, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And honestly, I see that a lot. I see that in so many different family situations. My dad would never come to a sports activity of any of my mom's kids, but then his other wife, he'd never missed a game. And so it's really hard when you see that polarizing hypocrisy and you're on the receiving end of the shit. Let's see. Yeah, I know the going by herself comment was, and then the whole ear piercing thing. Everyone could see how staged that was because she already had piercers. But that's why we couldn't watch the show, is because it was so infuriating to watch.
Yeah.
We could see so much of the stagedness. We could see so much of it was just completely like made for TV. And I never want to take away someone else's trauma experience. Like, I want to validate somebody going through whatever it is that they're going through. But so much of that trauma was not real trauma.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so let's see. Let's answer a couple of questions since we've gone through the whole episode. Cody should have been honest with his wives that he was truly, and honestly, I feel like when he married Robin, maybe he didn't completely feel that way. He did love all of his wives. And maybe it was just...
Before he did.
Yeah, before. And so maybe I want to give the guy the benefit of the doubt, but he was receiving a reception and a 11-day honeymoon, things that he could do with Robin that he couldn't do with any of the other wives and didn't do with any of the other wives. No one, thank you so much, Diane. No one in polygamy has a wedding reception like that. No one does. Like, that's just insanity. And no one takes an 11-day honeymoon. So when he gets time to nurture that relationship in ways that he never could nurture the other relationships because TLC's paying for it, of course he's going to have a romanticized relationship with her that he didn't get to have with the other wives. And the other wives didn't get that either. And it's disgusting. Let's see, but Cody gave Isabella's sweatshirt, same as being there. No, yeah, I know. That hurts my heart too. Let's see, Cody is truly sick and he didn't go until after Christine had her at the hospital. Yeah. Yeah. Is your dad the one who would have to give Mary her release from Cody? Yeah. Yep, he is. The move to Arizona after finally getting the cul-de-sac all done was their demise too. Honestly, I don't know why they did that. It makes zero sense to me. I mean, everyone out there has their speculations as to why they did that, but they didn't have to leave Utah. Nobody's going to prosecute them. That was made for TV.
Well, they were worried because they were looking into it, but yeah, it makes it. They were looking in to see if they were the cops were going to prosecute them, but then they ended up going, no, we're not going to.
Out of curiosity, can you name the AUB prophets back to Joseph Smith? Yes, I can. Yeah. In fact, there's like a pedigree chart type thing. And what was really weird is someone on TikTok actually put the new picture with my dad as the current prophet. And that was trippy to see because I was like, wait, what? And so, every family home, if you see on like the news, like any polygamous show, like you've got the FLDS and they always have a picture of the prophet on the wall. And then they'll typically have a picture of the leadership. Did you guys have one of those? Like all the council members?
I think we had a little picture.
Yeah.
But it was, I think, on the piano.
But it was displayed though, right?
Yeah, but it was like was like Ruland when I guess Owen was in there too.
Yeah. They usually have a picture of the prophet. Here's typically what it is.
We didn't have the big pictures on.
Yeah. Typically, you'll have a picture of Jesus, Joseph Smith, and then the current prophet, and then also the leadership, the 12 apostles that are on the current leadership. So typically that's what a house would have displayed in any polygamous situation. So yeah, I saw one of those on TikTok and it like tripped me out because there's my dad and I'm like, wait, what?
And she remembers all these names and everything that I don't. I have to go to a book to remember that.
Yeah. So yep, we can do that. Okay. The way Robin altered Christine's picture of Cody and her children. Yeah, that was a little disturbing. I won't lie. Robin altered a picture of Christine's kids with Cody and then took Christine's kids out and put her kids in and then made it like as if he was their dad the entire time. And that was a little bit icky. Did you see the big commitment ceremony they did a few years? Yeah, I had a huge amount of family members in that episode. It says, did you see the big commitment ceremony they did a few years back into the show? Yeah. And so, like, I want to say 4 or 5 of my brothers were there and they were on the TV show.
I would fast forward to a lot of the episodes and just look in the background to see if I knew anybody.
Yeah.
When they had big get-togethers.
So we didn't watch most of the seasons.
I didn't watch most of what they were saying or doing. I mean,
but we would watch those big ones because our family was there.
Yeah, some of the family members.
Yeah. Did you choose to get married at 17 or were you forced? I wouldn't say that I was forced to get married, but I wouldn't say that I felt like I had much of an option either. How do the leaders feel about Cody now? I think it was very much a mutual parting of ways. Was it strange to do a big commitment ceremony? Absolutely. So it says, was it that big commitment ceremony? No family does that. And if they do, it's intimate. It's personal between you and your family members, not, nobody does anything like that. The kids looked devastated when Robin and Cody told them, so she's replying to someone else. So does Mary still believe in the religion if the release is important to her? I don't think she does. She doesn't appear that she does. But it was something that she,
Could put a knife in that kidney.
yeah,
And twist it.
right. I love this version of Mary that's coming out right now.
Awesome.
I don't know if anyone saw her Instagram. She did a whole spearmint gum thing. I about fell on the floor. It was
such
amazing.
a great sense of humor.
So amazing.
So amazing.
And so I think she followed through with it because it was something that she started, and then just wanted to have it. And if it did irk Cody a little bit, well, then there's a bonus.
And next week's thing, it's going to be something about Robin and Cody weeping that the other women are so much funnier than them. And so they're going to be victims of how
Corey's
funny
waiting
they
for
are.
that episode to come out. Corey's just like,
I'm helping him produce it. So these women are way funnier than me.
I know.
It's just so wrong.
Yeah. New here. How do you know the family? We grew up with them. Same polygamous community we were born and raised into. Let's see. New drinking game. Take a drink every time Robin cries. You will be on the floor by the end of that episode.
But every time a tear goes down, we'd never be drunk.
We would never be drunk. There's no
Yeah.
tears. Somebody says, I want to answer this one. How did you see the purity speech where Robin defamed her first husband? So I did a TikTok on this just barely too, where I think it's interesting in the AUB too, there's not a lot of charity for other people. And I feel like those that have messed up according to the standards tend to be the most judgmental and the least charitable. And then they're going to fix everyone else around them. And it's funny because I have quite a few aunts and uncles that are like that too. And then we found out that one of my cousins was conceived before she was born, or before her parents were married. Yeah. Before her parents were married. And I was like, are you kidding me? Because they were the meanest out of everyone, the most judgmental out of everyone. I thought that purity speech was disgusting.
Judgy much?
Yeah, I thought it was absolutely disgusting. And I've heard one too many of those speeches in my lifetime where it makes me literally want to get up and just smack somebody. I'm not even a violent person, but I'm just like, stop talking. Okay, let's see.
We didn't have a purity speech in our household.
If Robin mentions that damn porch with her sister wives one more time, Christy, I absolutely agree with you. If you really wanted that, you wouldn't have taken a man that had 3 wives and 17 children away for 11 days.
We're going to get them some scarecrow sister wives and get them up there on the porch for her. So,
Get him a couple of...
yeah, so she can rock up there with the scarecrows and pretend.
Do you think that, let's see, the purity speech was so cringy, I just couldn't even imagine saying that stuff. No. The thing is, I've heard that speech a dozen times throughout my lifetime. And it makes, every single time I hear it, I just, Cody and Robin love to rewrite history, play the victims. And the problem with rewriting history and playing the victim is you televised your life.
Yeah, you got all those episodes back before that people can watch and can go through pretty quickly and go,
I know.
Well, was that really not that? No, that didn't really. That's not the truth, is it?
I know. And honestly, I try to give bad editing maybe some
credit,
but how much bad editing can you do before you're just like, this person's crazy? It sounds like she was accusing him of SA. It did, huh? And that's what I'm saying. So when Robin gave her purity speech, it sounded like she was accusing her ex of SA. You know what that SA is, right? Because we're not going to say those words out loud. And that's what it felt like to me too. And that's what I'm saying, that there's no accountability for what you did. You are the ones who got yourself pregnant too. So is Robin like that in real life?
Like what?
How she is on
Crying?
TV.
Yeah, yes.
Is it unusual for wives to be connected like Mary and Janelle were before marrying Cody? Because Janelle was married to Mary's brother? No, I mean, that's very common. It really is. It's funny. We told the story on one of our last lives. Cory actually dated my ex-husband's little sister briefly before we got married. And so, yeah, it's very common. I mean, polygamy 101. Everyone dates everyone. Thank you so much, Brittany. Do you think any of them will get mad enough to get off of the high road train and start telling the truth? Maybe. I hope so.
I think the other three wives are being very, very honest about their feelings, about the mocking of Cody and Robin. I mean, they're pulling no punches. I think they're doing really, really good.
I feel like you're starting to see levels of honesty now that you haven't seen in the first 18 seasons, to be honest. Because now they're saying, because now they don't have anything. Oh, thank you so much, Kelly. Kelly threw some confetti. Yeah, before it was like, do you think he ever loved any of them? I think he loved all of them in the best way that he knows how. When somebody is so in love with themselves, it's really hard to love somebody outside of themselves. Here's my sarcasm for a minute. So I think he loved them as much as he could for how much he loves himself. Okay, any other questions?
He did find his soulmate, though. That was amazing.
Looking in the bathroom mirror. Oh, I'm so cynical. Sorry. I have an ex-husband exactly like Cody. Minus the six-pack. I mean, come on, those six-pack abs, but...
And the curly hair.
Yeah.
The ringlets.
Right. Oh, sorry, my kids are on here too. What about the AUB where the leader's afraid of Browns would expose when they went on live TV? Thank you so much, Dirt Road Livy. Is it Dirt Road Livy? Thank you. Yeah, so my dad was the media advisor before he became the leader. And so if anyone needed to do interviews or anything like that with any AUB, then he was the one who advised them. And yes, they were very much advised not to do the show by multiple people, not just my dad, but by independents. Like, they were advised by a lot of people not to do that. And honestly, it really is the downfall of their family. I think what would have happened if they hadn't have done the show, Robin still would have been the favorite, and they all would have suffered for the rest of their lives in misery and then left when they were in their 70s or whatever, and they would have just stayed miserable. So, because I see that all the time, don't you think? Where these women will just stay no matter what, because it's all they know.
It's a belief system. So,
you know, and one thing too, it's like, you've put your entire life on the line for this religion. It's hard to admit you could have been wrong. Mm-hmm. And so they'll stay.
Or you're worried that when you die and pass on that it might still be right type thing. So
right.
I've got lots of family members that are like that. So
deconstructing is not for the faint of heart. It is very, very, it's a dirty work to deconstruct your religious beliefs. Do you think Robin and Cody intentionally pushed the wives out?
Yeah, I absolutely believe that Cody had. I don't think Cody was wanting to push the other two wives out. He did marry because he is so wounded that the other two left him before. You know what I mean? They're watching him push Mary out and not want, and I think they got to the point where they were just like, yeah, if that behavior starts to happen with us, we're gone.
Yeah.
And
honestly, I did another TikTok post about the different types of polygamous wives, and honestly, and I said in there, the first wife, if she crosses him in any way, he will be the meanest to her, because she holds a special place in his heart. Most of the time, she's the first person he's ever been intimate with. And so what it does is it's such a bruised ego, and the whole catfishing thing bruised his ego to a level that he can't ever get over. Like, he is God. He is the only man she should ever desire. And when she had something else going on with somebody else, that bruised the shit out of him.
No, and he's done that to now he's being mean to Janelle and Christine the same way. I think he's being equally mean.
Yeah.
So that's one place that I guess he can be equal to all three wives is by being.
But I don't think he's as mean to. Like, he's pissed off at Christine because he lowered himself. He was so much better than Christine, and he lowered himself to marry her. Yes, they make a big deal about her being polygamous to royalty. That's not really that big of a deal. he lowered,
Yeah,
like,
she's royalty.
yeah, I'm royalty now, and you're welcome. I elevated you. And so I think she just bruised his ego. Like, he's pissed that he lowered himself to marry somebody like Christine, and she's not grateful enough for that. And then he's just going to be a total, jerk to Mary because he's butt wounded. And so, let's see. Think he really loved Christine before he met Robin? Yeah, I do. I think he did. I mean, I was there when they did their very first date. Then I was there and I saw that, and he loved the attention, and Christine is a cheerleader. Like, Christine will be your biggest cheerleader, and she's amazing how she will rally behind you and support you so much. And he loved that. He loved that attention. I don't think Robin would have married Cody when they were broke and no TV show. Maybe. Yeah.
It's a good possibility.
Yeah, I would say. I think Mary was manipulated into the divorce. Absolutely, she was.
Yeah.
She absolutely
there
was.
No reason.
Yeah, that was a long.
It
and I
was-
said this. That was a long game.
Yeah, that was an easy way to go through a legal divorce without getting your ass handed to you.
Yep.
And so, yeah, that's absolutely.
And honestly, Cody should have nurtured that, knowing that what he had just asked Mary to do was really, really hard, and he should have nurtured that relationship. Honestly, the whole family falling apart is 100% on Cody.
Yep.
Your lives are so informative. Thank you. Oh, thank you. If you can get through some of the dark humor that happens on here. Cody got rich off these women. He did. He got rich off the back of his children too. And that's the sad part. That's disgusting to me. Because it is, these kids are the collateral damage. What is the thought of your dad being the head guy but having wives leave him? Right? His last wife that he married after he became the prophet, and my mom didn't even know. She wasn't even told. So.
Well, told beforehand. But
What?
Yeah.
She didn't know when they got married. She didn't know anything about it. But my mom, Janelle, somebody said Janelle stayed way too long, and I wanted to address that one. And I agree with you, she did, but my mom's 70 now and just finally getting away. And so Janelle's still in her prime. I feel like 50 is the new 30, right? I just turned 50 a couple months, like 2 months ago. And I feel like it's my new 30. Are y'all poly? No. We were just born and raised in a polygamous cult. Has anyone figured out what Robin said at the funeral? I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. Somebody says, glad for your mom. I know. I've been telling my mom for over 25 years, Mom, get out of here. Get out of here. Like, you look amazing at 50. Well, thank you. All of her kids have been trying to get her to leave. My mom has been a doormat for 50 years. So, let's see. He was never even in the same stratosphere as Janelle. I know. Janelle's so much better. Janelle is one of my favorite. I see so much of my mom in Janelle. It's crazy. And it's awesome. It's awesome to watch it. And it's awesome to watch my mom start becoming more empowered. And she watches all of these, so good on you, Mom. Let's see. What? Isn't taking another wife a family decision? It should be. And I have very, very, very strong opinions about this. It should be. Every single wife should have a say in the matter. It should be a family decision. And what's so disgusting about this is that they don't make it a family decision. He'll just go, oh, you don't support me? Oh, well, I'm going to do it anyways. What do you think?
You're out of harmony with the family, my family, and the family decision. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they should. Based on their teachings, they should. It's one of the teachings that they teach. She did a thing on was Law of Sarah, where the wives agree and those wives in harmony with the family agree and give that new wife to him. But
Yeah. So when in the polygamous temple, when you are getting, when you're bringing on a new wife, the last wife will take the hand of the new wife and put it in the husband's hand and so that way you are the wife who has an opportunity to give another woman to your husband and live the law of Sarah.
And then the first wife goes up and slaps him.
No, that's not what happens. Oh, yeah.
We'd all go to that ceiling if I got to watch that.
Somebody says, but don't they use religion as to why a wife is bad for not wanting? Absolutely, they do. And some wives can just be manipulative, and they're just like never going to let it happen. And so then they just go, we don't care about your opinion. We're moving on without it. Does Cody have a relationship with any of his children besides Robin's children? I don't know. We actually don't have. We just grew up with them. I don't speak to them really.
Really didn't. Yeah, I don't know many of the kids. So.
Somebody says, did you find a new religion since leaving? Most people, when they leave polygamy, they'll go into the Mormon church, the LDS church. That's pretty typical, but then you're just swapping one, in my opinion, one cult out for another. Or they'll go into Christianity. And so most of my siblings have, I did that when I left. I joined the Mormon church. Cory did the same thing.
Yep.
But most of my siblings are part of Christian churches now. So, yeah.
Yeah, we both quickly left that too because it was just too similar.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Why did TLC not have the duty of care to the children?
Didn't sign contracts with them, couldn't.
Yeah. Yep, they signed contracts with the parents. Janelle is the smartest of them all. Yes, she was. Was your mom a Jessup, Melanie? No. No, my mom, both of my parents married into the polygamous group. So I'm only related to the Jessups through my second mother. Or my dad's third wife. That's how I'm related to the Jessups, but no.
Zero royalty in our family.
Yeah. No, my ex-husband, same way. Both of his parents converted in. So our children have no biological blood relation to anyone. Wasn't Robin considered lower since she came with kids? I mean, he even says on this episode that she could have had whoever she wanted and she was a diesel jeans model. Come on. No, he thought for some reason he has an idea that she is better than him. And I don't understand that. But I mean, when I got divorced, I had a couple men show up at my front door putting in their bid for me. It was very uncomfortable, very awkward. Let's see. I was told to them by God, the ex did the same. Yeah. I love that Maddie isn't letting Cody come in or out of her kids. She's such a strong mom. She is. Honestly, I feel like that's so much healthier for the kids than to deal with this kind of drama. You know, it's funny, he says high school drama, and yet we're going to be seeing 99% of all the drama come from, you know? So, yeah, what does the AUB think of the Browns? Yeah, I think it was a very much of a very mutual parting of ways. Let's see. It makes me nauseous. Both of my husbands cheated on me and I hated cheating. That's a rough one to go through. Polygamy just feels like cheating. I had a crush on a Mormon boy and then got worried about having sister wives. Now I'm glad I didn't. What's funny too is that I used to feel really frustrated because people would judge me because I came from that. And so they were like, you can't be friends with her. You can't hang out with her. And then I had my own children and they started going to school, just a local school, and a bunch of freaking polygamists were there. I didn't know. And my daughter started liking a polygamous boy and I was like, oh no. And,
she got all judgy.
Yeah, and my kids were like, wow, that's pretty hypocritical, Mom, don't you think? And I was panicked because too often, and Big Love is a perfect example of that. He marries the first wife, then she gets uterine cancer and can't have any more children, so she opts to let him have more wives. They go back into polygamy, or, goes back to his religion because of some guilt trip of that. And that's what I was concerned about. And so then I 100% saw the validity in other parents worrying about their kids dating me.
Yeah.
And it felt hypocritical, but man, was I worried.
We were both worried.
Yeah.
We had that good a discussion before as we were dating that neither of us were wanting to go back. We wouldn't be going back to the AUB or to polygamy, or that lifestyle was too difficult growing up in.
Yeah.
So
now he just lets me have all my multiple personalities, and he thinks that
that's right.
Let's see. I was going to answer that last question, but I can't remember what it says. Sorry.
There you go.
I was do you think Cody will take on any more wives? No, I think he's done with it. And I don't know that he could even go back into the AUB. If he did, there'd be a humbling process. He'd have to be disfellowshipped. He'd have to be rebaptized. He'd have to be put on shame for the entire congregation.
Well, and in their belief system, you have to have 3 wives, and only one of them has truly got a release. So he's living monogamy here on this earth, but when he dies and goes the other side, he'll still have
Christine and Janelle, because they didn't get releases.
get released from.
So I think that's why Mary gave that little stab in the other
just
kidney.
get a release.
Yeah, do polygamists have affairs beyond the wives? Yeah. Yeah, we've seen it happen. So we've seen men have affairs with other men. So we've seen that. Yeah, there's a lot of, and women. So it happens.
That's right.
Yeah.
Us peasants. Thanks, sister.
Did Nathan, Mary's brother-in-law, and Cody's BFF also leave the AUB? I don't know for sure. I've heard that he has. Yeah, Nathan's a nice guy. But yeah, I've heard that he left. So I don't know. Thank you guys. So many people are following us now. Thank you so much. Because we are definitely going to be doing these lives every Monday. Although today we're wiped out. We had grandbabies all day today, and we love them, but they're, by the end of the day, we're like tired. So do you think Robin and Cody will last?
I don't know. She had a lot of choices before she met Cody.
Yeah, I think they will, because they stroke each other's ego so much.
Good
Kelly, thank you so much, Kelly, because they feed into each other's narcissism. So I think they'll last for that reason. But what do you think?
Yeah, they're both victims. They don't want to victimize each other. So.
Yeah. Let's see. Do you think Robin is losing respect? Okay, so when she makes that comment in the polygamous group, you're supposed to want your husband to have good relationships with other people. You're supposed to want him to, have a good relationship. And so you're judging him based on how he's handling those other relationships. That's where so when I hear her say that, she is losing respect for him because of how he's treating the other relationships. Even though she's the one who encouraged that behavior, when she actually sees it play out and she knows that it's wrong and it's not where they're supposed to be, then the next step is to lose respect. So how does it affect your dad being the prophet and having his wives leave him? Apparently not at all. He can do whatever he wants. I don't think that it affects him at all. He was able to get another wife and no problem.
Just out of harmony with her right now.
Yeah. Yeah, just out of harmony with my mom right now. My mom is the most senior wife. So he was married once before to a woman in the LDS temple. They were LDS Mormon, and he married her in the temple. And then he, I didn't see that, sorry. And then he married my mom about a year and a half later, I think. And so as a second wife, and then the first wife left when I was 2. And so my mom's kind of been that senior. So we were both born and raised in the AUB, Apostolic United Brethren, and my dad's the current prophet. And we have never lived polygamy between the two of us.
Or separate for me.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Never lived polygamy. I grew up in it, so I was a child, the child's version of seeing polygamy from.
Thank you, Kelly. Thanks, Kelly.
From the child's version. By the time I reached adult, I was like, absolutely not. That looks
It's hard.
Too much of a headache. So.
I was wondering, now that you left the AUB, do you believe in the celestial kingdom? No.
I think we all show up at the same place. Some people are going to be ticked. It's hell for them. Other people will be like,
because you're there.
Yeah.
Everyone likes me.
When I show up, everybody's going to be going, oh my gosh, did we end up going to hell?
Yeah, no. Our views on religion have completely shifted. Yeah. Do you think that Cody would court others and start another plural family with Robin? I don't think he'll ever live plural marriage again. And especially, what kind of a douche says that? When he gets up there and he's like, I couldn't ever marry somebody, because then I'm going to have to tell him that my heart belongs to Robin. I'll never love you as much as I love Robin. Did the Browns tithe to the AUB? Yeah, they did. So, and as far as I'm aware, they do. Yeah, I'm sure that they do. One of the things I did a TikTok on this one too, but I'll just hurry and tell this story again really quick. I had a really good friend that I grew up with, and he was talking to me about my podcast. He's like, "Hey, Mel, I'm watching all your podcasts." Well, one of the realizations that he had, which I respect him so much for having this realization, is that he realized that he spent the first 20 years of his marriage, never got another wife, not loving his wife fully because he didn't want her to get comfortable not sharing him, or, you know, having to share him. So he never loved her to that full extent that he wanted to, because he didn't want it to be harder on her when he got another wife. And so once he realized he wasn't going to live polygamy and he could absolutely love her the way he wanted to, I was like, how tragic is that you guys spent your first 20 years and you didn't love her the way you could have loved her? And that's the mentality. Is your mom leaving the AUB too, or just leaving your dad? I think she's still in the process of figuring that out. I don't think she really knows exactly, you know, what her next steps are going to be. She does still respect all of her covenants right now. However, other than just one of the covenants and promises you make is not speaking ill of the Lord's anointed and or, you know, the leaders. So that's about the only thing that when my dad became the prophet, I joked with her and I'm like, I don't want to hear one negative thing come out of your mouth about this man anymore, because you made a promise. You better keep it. So, oh, hi, Aunt Mel. Love Cohen. Oh, my little sister's on here too. I love it. Hi, Cohen K. Okay, Amanda Ray on YouTube. She is from the Kingston. Yeah, I've heard of her. I actually, someone else was telling me about that, so I'm gonna have to go. I've been reposting these to my YouTube channel, and so we're actually gonna we're gonna create a 3 or 4 part series about our relationship and how we met and how we started dating. Let's see. I want to make sure I go back and answer some of these questions. Did you ever watch Escaping Polygamy? Yeah. I struggle with that show. I don't know how much of that's made for TV and how much of it's real.
Some of it is, and we support anybody. My escape was getting in my car and driving away. So.
Yeah. In the AUB, if you want to leave, you just leave. Mm-hmm. Nobody's chasing after you. Now, back in the day, they did have some pretty extreme situations where they were like, one girl tried to leave and they went and kidnapped her back, and, you know, but that was 50 years ago. And now if you want to leave, you just leave.
I'm 50.
Yeah. Were you alive when that happened with her?
I don't know.
Yeah. Do you know a lot of people in the Kingstons? I don't. So I know a lot of people in different groups just because my mom has a local health food store, and she would go around and she would train people on herbs and supplements and all that kind of stuff. And so I do know quite a few independent polygamists and stuff like that. But for the most part, no.
I knew some of the Kingstons and some of the independents when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
So we went out to some dances out at the Kingstons and gets together.
Yeah.
So.
And independent polygamists are somebody who they just don't believe in a leadership. They still want to live plural marriage, and they just don't believe in a leadership. So, and there's some really, really good independent polygamists. So Joe Darger is a very much of an advocate for like polygamy in Utah, and they would be considered independent. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. I love him and his family. Very, very good people. I want to know what you think of the house decor and the art. I would never do that to my house, but that's me. I would never.
We don't decorate. We decorate in.
We're very simple.
Halloween.
Yeah, we have Halloween all over. We have grandbabies that said, Mickey Mouse, scary house comes up now. I personally would never decorate my house like that. And I wonder if that's what pushed Christine to file for child support. I honestly feel like good for her. She should absolutely do that, because it's a disgusting amount of money in that house. Let's see, why isn't Robin's older son on the show much? I don't know. I'm curious about that myself. Hi, new here. Can you reintroduce yourselves? Oh yeah, I think we just barely did that. Okay. Do you know how long ago the Browns left the AUB? I want to say it was about 7 or 8 years ago is when they left. I remember my dad was telling me about it. They will only last as long as the money is around with each other. Yeah, and then maybe they will. Cody and Robin will end up, who knows. Let's see here. Is your mom, okay, yeah, sorry, we've already answered some of those questions. I want to make sure we get to a lot of these questions. As realtors, would you have changed? Absolutely. It says, as realtors, would you have changed, what would you have changed with Cody and Robin's home staging?
Cleaned out most of it.
I would have taken
So
90% of
walls,
the shit out of there.
Yep. And we want people to think when they come in there, hey, where could our stuff go? How can we decorate? So
Yeah.
there's some very classy staging. But yeah, I'd have had them put most of that in the garage or in the storage unit. So
Right. Yeah, I would not have the house that we would
that was
absolutely empty
too
it.
cluttery.
Yeah, way too much stuff in there. Somebody says, what types of jobs do polygamous men typically hold? They typically are self-employed. You can't feed a family like that unless you are. I know a lot of
A
them.
lot of construction.
Yeah, blue collar workers.
Yep.
My dad always owned a car place. So at some point weren't Ervil LeBaron and Rulin friends? I think they were. Yeah, they were. And so
Well, it was actually Erbil's brother and Rulin that were friends.
Right.
That's why they were trying to get Erbil's brother. So
Right. And what happened there, why they murdered Rulin, was because tithing. So
two things: tithing, and then he was trying to get his brother, his Erbil's older brother, went into hiding, and he
Yeah.
thought if he could take out the head of one church, and then his brother would come to the funeral and take him out, then he'd be getting all the tithing.
yeah,
So people would fall under him. So
right. Yeah, and I mean honestly, it's hard when there's a lot of money at stake. I mean, yes, these polygamists are poor because they give so much of it back to the church. So, do you think it was weird that Cody would stay at Robin's when courting her? Absolutely. That is not acceptable in any way, shape, or form. And that's why he said he took his daughters to chaperone him. I mean, what are you going to do? Tell your dad that's inappropriate behavior. Don't do that. You're not going to do that. So, yeah.
other men have got their excommunication papers because of that. So
Right.
just saying.
Was there an incident that triggered them parting ways with the AUB? I don't know that there was one thing particular, but I know Robin was crying a lot to my dad and going to my dad a lot and talking a lot about the dysfunction of the family. And my dad was trying to counsel her a lot. And I think they were counseled so extremely about not doing the show anymore that I think that's where they decided to part ways. How did your dad know the Browns left 7 or 8 years ago? I think that they just stopped coming around. They took off their garments, which is a huge no-no. And you could see that on TV when they started wearing short sleeves and shorts and stuff like that. They were no longer, when you wear garments, you can tell that you wear garments. And when you don't, you can tell you don't. And so that's a huge out of there. So I think that, honestly, I think there was so much dysfunction happening, and Cody just went, no, we're still doing the show and we're not going to not. And so then he just got upset. But this is a completely my assumption based on things that I've heard. The women stopped wearing long sleeves, etc. years ago, except for Robin. So bye-bye. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The minute that you take off your garments, you've broken your covenants to God that you made when you got married. And that's a big, huge red flag that you're out of there. You have to be rebaptized, a bunch of other stuff. And so, yeah, you can see that. So I personally, we rewatched season 1, and I think that either they were married. I think they only filmed like the first 1 episode, maybe 2 episodes where they weren't married. And then I think the whole rest of the season, they were already married because Robin's clothes changed. What are garments? Garments are underwear type things that you wear. They're like supposed to be a protection and a reminder that you've made a covenant to God. They're very inconvenient, and that's part of is that you're supposed to be, uncomfortable, and then you remember God. So what about him picking out Robin's wedding dress? 100% staged. 100% staged. No man does that. They all make their own wedding dresses because they have to accommodate the garments. I actually have a TikTok, keep referring back to my previous TikToks, but you can see my wedding dress on there. It's all the way up to my neck, all the way down to my sleeve or my wrist, and all the way down to my ankles. So everyone makes their own wedding dresses because there's nothing that you can really go buy that will support that. And no polygamous family can afford a dress. So that was 100% made for TV when they all went shopping for those dresses.
Do AUB boys go on missions? They wouldn't be like a mission that the church puts on. It's where you go out and you proselytize and try to bring people into the religion. If you do, it's more of a work project one where you go help build a community.
Yeah.
Or do things like that, where you go and live and work and build up that build it. So it's free work for 2 years, but
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
do them.
Well, and
that
back
way.
in the day when the AUB started, there was a big split. The FLDS went one way, the AUB went another way. Then they did a lot of proselyting. And so the founder, Rulon Allred, which is Christine's grandpa, actually had Cory's dad go out and do a lot of proselyting too. They were good friends.
Yeah.
And so they
were
would
older guys.
Yeah, and so they would go out and try to recruit people to join because it was so small.
Yeah.
You know, half of them were Allreds, Jensens, Jessups, and yeah. Do you think Cody has gotten radicalized by the manosphere?
What's a manosphere?
I know, I'm like, we're uneducated. I don't know what
I
that
have
means.
No clue.
We have a smart daughter, pinning. How much does the show is made for TV encounters? I would say probably
Most
at
of
least
it.
half,
Yeah.
if not more, because that's just not. Why would Robin's clothes change after marriage? Because she'll start wearing garments, and she didn't wear garments with her first one because she didn't get married in the temple.
And she might be wearing the same thing, but you can usually see right here,
It'll be bunchy.
bunchy. Yeah, you can see their, whatever they're called, ribbons or ties.
Yeah.
Underneath of her clothes.
Yeah, so the garments that the polygamists wear are said to be the original design when the church first put them out. So they're open all the way up the front. They're one piece, and you put them on a very specific way. You have to put them on a very specific way, and then they are open up the front and open a little bit in the back. So you have to tie them together. So there'll be little bunchy ties right there, and so and I can see it in some of her clothes that she was wearing. And then that's where you'll always see like the long sleeves with the short sleeve over the top, or the spaghetti strap tank tops over the top. How does the AUB treat kids who stop believing when the parents are still in? What do you think?
How did the AUB?
Depends on who you are. The
Yeah.
AUB makes up their rules as they go along, so it
Yeah.
depends on your last name and who you are.
So, I mean, my parents, obviously they were sad that I was leaving and not wanting to be part of it. I was the firstborn in the
Yeah.
under the covenant, but as the kids left, they still loved us. We still came back and hung out with our other brothers and sisters. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
AUB didn't give a crap about us.
Yeah.
When we were there, they didn't give a crap.
I think it just matters
Most
who
of the
you
people
are
didn't.
and your last name. Was your first marriage plural? No, but the minute that I was the first wife, but the minute that we got married, he started looking for wife number 2, and we courted and dated a couple of different girls and got pretty close to marrying one. And
They didn't spend the night over there,
no,
or he would have been excommunicated.
no. And then I backed out and said, no, I didn't want to live that way. Someone says garments are supposed to be covered up. Yeah. So you have to cover them up. They're supposed to be sacred. And so they're not for other people to look at. And I saw a comment in here, Melanie, they don't have to wear them before. No. You get them when you get married in the polygamous church. When you go into their temple and get their endowment, that's when you would get them.
You're just supposed to dress as if you would wear them. We grew up having to have shirts up to our neck, long sleeves, long pants.
Yeah.
Because we were preparing ourselves as children to
Yeah.
wear them later on in life.
So somebody says, can you speak about polygamous groups in Mexico? Was it AUB? Combination. So my ex-husband, his dad is from one of those. My ex-husband is Hispanic. And so his dad was from one of those colonies down there, and
But there's also
but there's a bunch of
LeBarons, a lot of independents too.
Yep. So my older 3 kids are all Hispanic. Are you surprised any of the kids did not choose? No, not at all. Says, are you surprised any of the kids did not choose polygamy? Not at all. Out of my dad's 34 kids that he raised, I mean, he's married other women with other kids, but he raised 34 of them. There's only like 5 or 4 that still live that way. The rest of them are like absolutely no. And same with Cory's family.
Yeah, I think we're down to 2, maybe 3 siblings that are still part of the AUB.
Right.
So
Are there any peaceful polygamy marriages? It's being promoted on the internet. Absolutely not. Not any that I've ever seen. I think people give it a good try and they try to get that way, but there's so much shame that is put on you and there's so much guilt that it's so hard to live that way when you're in constant shame and guilt all the time. And so I think there's people who have polyandrous relationships and stuff that seem to do okay. But when you add a religion factor to it, what does courting on the wife's end look like? It was hard. It was really hard. So, but the thing about courting, the one girl that we courted more seriously, she was only 16 and I was 18 and he was 26. And that's why I put a big kibosh on it, is because she was so young. And I loved telling my ex-husband, why don't you get her a dozen roses for her 17th birthday? That was a joke. That was really hard. And yeah, it's disgusting. It was predatory.
hey, Kendall and Shauna, good to see ya.
Oh gosh. Do we think Robin's girls will participate in polygamy? If any of the kids have a shot, it's those 2 girls for sure.
Yeah, favorite kids. Got to build up some trust, some brownie points.
Somebody says, would you say there's a decline in polygamy? Yeah, I think there is. I think they see their numbers dwindling. And I think a lot of that has to do with the internet and social media and just things like that, because people have more information at their fingertips. And when they can, these groups, this is my own opinion, they thrive in ignorance. So when you're ignorant to what is going on in the world, it's easier to stay ignorant. And now, if you're ignorant, it's a choice.
What matters, and that's all the different belief systems.
Yeah. Do your kids talk to their dad? They do. Yeah, I've very strongly tried to encourage a relationship. He makes it really hard for them to have a relationship with him. And so, yeah, he didn't come to our, we had a daughter just get married and he didn't get invited to the wedding. What do you think about Cody saying he never loved Mary? I think he's full of shit. He lied. I was there when they were courting. I saw them date. And he absolutely was in love with her. Mary was a cutie bug. Oh. Now that women have more rights, are AUB encouraged to now go to college? No. That goes back to my previous comment. If you live in ignorance. And I think that whole thing was staged for TV with the Browns, to be honest, because
Caring parents do,
Yeah.
try to get their kids to go to college, get that information.
But if you're a girl, you're having babies. How are you going to college? So I didn't even graduate high school. I had a baby my senior year of high school. Do you think Robin really wants to be in the religion, but the show made it impossible? That's a hard one. I don't think she really wanted to be in the religion. I think she did because that's what she's supposed to do, shame and guilt.
And her whole family was in there, so
Right.
that would have been good ranking.
But she wanted to be the wife.
Yeah, she wanted to be the favorite wife, and if she could have made it right and got Cody some good ranking, not only on TV but within the AUB, and he could become cranked up there and be a
Thank you, Linda.
elder or bishop or something, that would have been amazing. So
So do some women just find it easy, like an easier way of life? I mean, there are some women who are super chill, like Janelle. I feel like that was my mom, very chill. And she always had her sister wives' best interests at heart, it felt like. I mean, yes, I'm sure she's going to have her moments. I feel like Cory's mom's very similar. It's like, let's do what's best for the family. And they genuinely mean that. And I feel like there are a lot of women who, live this way, and they are very genuine. like that. But then it's hard when you get somebody who just comes in and just shits on everyone. So do you think Robin seems regretful? No. Do you?
I don't know. Of what?
The family falling apart? I don't know.
Well planned.
Well, yeah, the long game worked. I honestly feel like her convincing Mary to get a divorce was a long game. I really do. My dad married a woman with 3 kids, and he never adopted them. So, let's see. Thank you guys so much. So many people are starting to follow us. We really appreciate that. Robin seems to be the only one committed to the religion. I don't think that that's true. I feel like at the beginning they were all very committed to the religion, and they got burned so bad that they decided.
I mean, the religion itself has changed so much in the last 20 years, I think. So
yeah,
they've gone through a couple different leaders of the church. So.
Yeah. Someone says Robin's mom did the same. No, came in after other wives and became the only wife. I don't think that's what happened. I think he just worked out of town, and so he had one wife out of town and one wife at home. You know, and my ex-husband, his dad had one in Montana, one in Utah, and one in Mexico. So it's very common for that to happen. It's just if she prefers that she wants to be, you know, the one wife wanted to stay in Montana, so she did. But I don't think that that's very uncommon. So we are going to talk for about 10 more minutes. So
answer a few more.
Yeah, we'll answer a few more questions. But these lives go by so fast. And all of a sudden I realized we're almost 2 hours in. So thank you guys, everyone who's joined us, everyone who's, you know, we appreciate these so much. We really do appreciate the support. We will be doing another live probably Friday. We've been doing them on Friday. Oh, thank you, Kelly. We will be doing it probably Friday night, but I'm going to create an event in my profile. So you can always come and register for it, and it'll drop it. Thank you, Mama W Cat. And Blame Brett. Thank you, Blame. And then you can, if you feel like registering, you can, and you can add it to your calendar so you won't forget if you decide you want to do that. And I just create those events like right after we're done here. Thank you, Karen and Chief Office. Thank you. And honestly, everybody's been so supportive. Do polygamous men who die list everyone on their obituary tombstones or just legal family? I've seen it both ways. So I've seen it. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I don't know what that one. That's amazing. Thank you. I've seen it both ways. Didn't your dad, when he passed, didn't they put all of the? I'm pretty sure they did. Like in his obituary and stuff, they put all of the kids. Yeah.
They may have. They put a big list on there.
Yeah, I've seen it both ways. I've seen them just put the legal wife. I
just put our initials.
Yeah,
so and just CK.
And it didn't. CK. I don't think that they put their partners.
I have no.
Because clue. That's too expensive. You're talking $1,000 just to add your children on there. Do you know the family, or are you here just talking about the show? And are you polygamous new here? We yes, we say thank you. So blessed. What is that? That's amazing. And Kayla, thank you. We actually, yes, I grew up with Mary and Robin, or I'm sorry, Mary and Christine, and Cory grew up with Robin. And then I knew Cody when the very first time Cody ever came to the AUB, I was there, and we all got to meet him. And so, and we are not polygamous. Yeah, we were both born and raised there and have decided that's not what we want to do.
I don't know about the validity of it because I don't remember it, but my mother said that I guess they honeymooned up.
Cody and Mary honeymooned at his house in Montana, and so did Cody and Christine.
A lot of people did. Mm-hmm. So we had a farmhouse up there, a farm get together where we raised a lot of animals, and people would come up to see what it was like. So
Somebody
we
said
had a little barn dominium out back. Let them stay in their barn dominium.
Yeah. Somebody said is your barn dominium. Cory's been dying to make the barn dominium joke for a hot minute.
That's right.
Because he thought that was the funniest shit.
Gotta put my first wife out in the barn dominium. She's being a little bit obnoxious.
He's like, I'm talking about this barn dominium because because we're in real estate, and he's like, I'm talking about this, so we're going to get somebody to get a barn dominium.
Second wife house, a little trailer in the back.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, William. Somebody says, do all the AUB men care about their wives getting along as much as Cody did? That was made for TV, I think, too. I don't think
care. Yeah, they probably want them to get along.
Yeah, I'm sure they want him. It makes his life so much easier when they can get along, but does he force them to get along? No. And the shit that he says about that. Christine didn't even try to get along with her sister wives. Dude, how do you know that?
Cody and Robin deserve each other. They are soulmates.
Thank you, Brittany.
Are.
Thank you. Do you know Robin's ex? Yes, Cory grew up down the street from him. Good guy.
In the same compound.
Same compound. They were raised on a compound in Montana, and I was actually the suburban family down here in Salt Lake.
Yep.
So our family was actually in Montana. Oh yeah. Okay. We've got a lot of ex-polygamous people on here, and maybe even current polygamous people. We don't know, but thank you guys. Oh, thank you, Blaine Brett. Oh, thank you. That's so nice of you guys. You guys have been amazing.
Thanks, William.
Yeah, William, we're gonna give William
gifter badge.
Yeah, a big, huge shout out. Thank you so much, William. You have been amazing.
Yeah.
We've had a couple people who have really just kind of the barn dominium. Oh, I saw a comment about that. Dang it. It jumped. If you are not polygamous, what is the correct term? We're just people. So we just...
Pliglets?
Yeah, we're pliglet. I mean, we always call ourselves pliglets, but
raised up in the thing.
Does your religion have a temple? It's no longer our religion. We were just born and raised into it. Yes, they do have, they don't call it a temple as much as an endowment house. Tammy, thank you, and Kelly.
Yep.
And so somebody says, do you guys have children together? We do, we have 2. Yep. And Cory's eyes are all swollen because she's moving out tomorrow. Tonight's her last night at home. It's been a rough couple days for us.
Kick my butt every time my kids. So.
Yeah, and Kayla.
4 of them now got leaving, so got 1 left here.
I had 3 when we got married, so and then we have 2 together, a boy and a girl. And so I just happened to marry two plig kids that grew up down the street from each other. So my Cory and my ex-husband grew up down the street. Was your husband married before?
This guy?
No. I'm his first. I'm his one and only.
No, I was a big nerd.
Why do you think Cody was always so focused on loyalty between him and the sister wives? I don't know. It's like
because because
he's not loyal.
He's not loyal. He was talking behind each one of their backs, and so he demands loyalty because he knows how unloyal he was to everyone but probably Robin.
Yep.
So.
And he has guilt about that and probably shame about that, and so he demands what he's not willing to give.
Yep.
Because he knows how crappy it can get. Speaking of barn dominiums, is putting some wives out to pasture common? Absolutely. It absolutely is. When you are no longer of childbearing years and your husband doesn't really want to have much to do with you, it's very,
if you
very
can't have
common.
kids for him, then yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's sad. It's really sad because these women are just, then they're lonely. Then they're just, and they get to live the rest of their lives by themselves. And they don't want to leave because where do they go, you know? Do you all see plig rigs in Salt Lake? I don't know what a plig rig is.
Is there polygamous compounds in Salt Lake?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, there's
rigs.
the polygamous the one I grew up in. Yeah, the big. There's a couple. Now they've got a couple of different buildings that they do.
Plig rigs, we were big old cargo van.
Oh,
Run
plig
your
rigs,
kids
like
around.
like big yeah. I mean, Utah's famous for that type of vehicle, if that's what you're talking about.
A restaurant near Murray.
Did your family or did someone you know own a restaurant near Murray or Sandy in the 60s or 70s? I don't know. I don't think so. Nobody that I know. No. Thank you so much for being so open and honest with this. I've always been so fascinated by it. Thanks for watching. Like, we really, really do appreciate the support. And if we can help even one person find hope after they leave, it's worth it.
In high school, he was in the drama club, and so that he'd practiced that one for
You have to read the
years to
question.
get the knife in the kid. Oh, sorry. What do I think about his knife in the kidney?
Comment from Cody.
Bravo.
That was so staged for TV. Nobody does that. I mean,
he couldn't get a place on the council, so he was at least trying to get a place on Hollywood Stars, put his name and stuff on there.
I think
So
my
that was good
favorite.
acting.
I know my favorite part of that whole scene is looking at like Christine's looking at him like, shut up. And so like Janelle and Mary are just like, what is he doing? So he looked like such a fool.
And
Just
they mock the shit out of it. That's my favorite part. Every time they.
yeah.
There's so
I
many
love that
good
they mock him
taglines
about
he
it. It's
brings up.
awesome. Does Cody have to pay child support to the minor children now that him and the wives have separated? He should. And I love that
Probably
Christine's
have to
going
go to
after
court
him.
and get it.
Yeah. Christine's suing him now for child support, and I love that for her. I absolutely think she should. You need to be posting whatever you're laughing at. Our daughter's helping us moderate, and she's over here bright red faced laughing at some of these. Staged and a wannabe Jim Carrey. No kidding. What a joke. Like that was one of the worst scenes ever. Like I was embarrassed for him. I felt bad for him. People, come on. Have more respect for yourself than that. It makes me think of the Grinch every single time. Yeah, he does. Yeah, that's Cory's favorite kind of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But I'm joking when I'm doing it. I'm not dead serious.
When you turn to me and you're like, no,
Oh, the kid
stabbing me in the back.
Oh, my
Comment
God.
section's pretty funny.
Oh my gosh. Okay, our kid's laughing at all the comments. Keep going. But we've got about 5 more minutes. I think the only true minor other than Robin's is Christine's. Yeah, and she just filed for child support. Yeah. Yeah, it makes me, oh, yep, we've already read that one. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Robin covering Cody's mouth or kissing him to shut him up. So disrespectful. You don't do that. I mean, what if I did that to you? Like, I mean, I have gone, oh my gosh, you can't say that. But I would never. The body language alone in that scene is very disturbing.
Probably should.
Yeah, especially when you pop off with some of your stuff. Okay, so because Cody no longer has 3 wives, does he get to go to heaven or wherever? No.
All this. Well, it depends. It depends.
Not according to. Well, he does still have 3 sealed wives. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if they're
Gonna
married
get
to
up
him.
there and talk.
Yeah, yeah. He does still have 3 sealed wives: Janelle, Christine, and Robin. And because they haven't gotten releases from him, then technically he still has the 3 wives. So yes,
He probably could tell the kidney story to
God,
St. Peter and see if he can still get in.
if he can get in the gate. Okay, is it common for polygamists to write off adult children? Very much so.
Some of them, yep.
It's very much so. It's really sad. It's disgusting, to be honest. I've watched my dad do it dozens of times and over. Did your family turn against you when you left? Yeah. The first time I did, yeah. It was really hard.
Mine didn't.
Yeah.
All my brothers and sisters are on here.
Somebody says, does the AUB have their own cemetery on their compounds? Yes. Some of them do.
Explain who got released from Cody.
So Mary's the only one who sought after a release and was given one. Janelle said she wasn't going to seek after a release, which is a spiritual separation of that union. And Christine said she doesn't care. And then of course Robin's still with him. So he would still technically have 3 sealed wives to him.
Yes,
So
there are cemeteries
on the yeah, his
different
dad's buried in
compounds.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and they have their own does the AUB have their own cemetery? Oh, whoops. Yep. Sorry, I just reread it. It's in the comment section. Our daughter's pinning
So
questions.
she's reading.
I'm being very thorough. I'm trying to hit them all. I feel bad. Why would multiple block wives get you into heaven? Why would multiple block wives get you into heaven? I'm not sure what that question means. I'm sorry. Why do you go to heaven if you have... Oh,
Well, heaven is...
thank you, So Blessed.
Yep.
Thank you.
Heaven is... Under the AUB, heaven, there's 3 degrees of heaven. If you want to get to the top part of it, then
Where you can become a god and make
Yep.
all that other stuff, then yeah.
then you have multiple wives. And so you have to have them sealed to you to make it into the top degree. If you don't have it,
Yeah.
you're...
And somebody says, but Christine is remarried. Yeah, she is legally married, but she's still spiritually married to Cody. He still owns her.
That's right. You still got that little...
There's some of my black humor, my
Seal.
dark humor. in Cody's mind, he still owns her. And he threatened the AUB about not giving her a release because he didn't do anything to deserve one. Even though Christine is remarried and slept with someone else, yeah, she legally married her new husband, from my understanding. And, my dad's first wife left him, and she got remarried, and my dad still owns her, or he claims he does. She hates that, and my ex-husband still thinks he owns me. So, but I did get a release as well, though. They think that God can see that they're not together. They don't think God can see that they're not together. I will once again say the AUB makes up their rules. Yeah, they make up their rules as they go along, and it depends on who you are and your last name, and your status and your tithe paying amount, depending on what kind of treatment you get. Do you think that Cody was hoping to create his own sect when they moved to Vegas? I don't know. I mean, he probably could have. A lot of people do that. They'll move away.
Church, have people all gather there if there isn't one down there. So.
Yeah. So, all right. And then I know we're thank you guys so much. I cannot believe every time we start a live, I always tell my husband, gosh, I hope people want to watch this. And then we get double what we had last time on the live. And so we really appreciate all the support. You guys have been amazing, and we love answering your questions. Christine would have the right to release. Neglect is a reason. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. If she went and sought a release, she would be issued one for sure.
Yeah. I just don't think she cares.
She just doesn't care. I wasn't going to go get one.
We're out of here.
Yeah. Somebody says, hello from an ex-AUB member. Hugs to you both. Oh, thank you. I love seeing people, when we can connect again. I'd get a release just to piss Cody off. I think that's what Mary did.
Yeah.
Good for her. I really do think that's why she did it. Why doesn't TLC explain the religion more clearly so it's easier for viewers to understand? Because honestly, I don't think they care. Yeah. I think they just want to make it, and they're trying to, they do think that all of this is sacred to them, and so it's not, casting pearls before swine type thing.
Like we're doing.
Yeah. What would go on Cody's prophet wall, his abs or his face? Oh my gosh, I don't know. He's pretty fond of both of those. So I don't know. That's a pretty good one though. I don't know. I feel bad for his kids. That's really where Cory and we watched the show, and that's really, the kids are collateral damage, and it breaks our heart. Dad says we're sealed to my parents. Mom is deceased, and brother. Yeah. So a lot of times, even though I'm not LDS, am I wrong? Yeah. So a lot of times your parents will just go in and seal you to them. And my sister, one of my sisters passed, and my other sister went into the LDS church temple and sealed her to the family. And,
Well, and if you're born under the covenant, then you're automatically sealed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the covenant means if you are born under a plural marriage covenant, then you're automatically sealed to your parents.
Then when you're born, you're automatically sealed.
Right. Do you think that some of what we see is made up on TV? Absolutely. Absolutely. I would say 70% of it.
Knife in the kidney's not real.
No.
Nobody ever put a knife in anybody's kidneys.
Yeah. Do you have to get a release from their church or the ex-husband? From the ex-husband. So when I left the AUB, we'll answer this one last question and we'll wrap it up. But when I left the AUB, I actually went right into the Mormon church and joined the Mormon church, but I had to go meet with like high officials and everything because I was married into a quote cult before. And so I did go seek a release from my ex-husband, and they were not going to give me one. It took me well over 2 years to get one. And so it was really hard. So that's why I was just going to walk away. I just didn't even care. But the Mormon church they don't like it when you're not fully committed.
They're leery of plague kids coming out of that and coming to the Mormon church. A lot of young men come to it, get married, and then try to go back. So that's what they're leery of. So they really kind of grill you, make sure you're serious about it and that you're not going to live polygamy again. So a lot of it's like, are you going to live polygamy? No. Are you going to live polygamy? No. Did you ever live polygamy? No.
Yeah.
Are you going to live polygamy? No, we're not. So.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And I know I said that one last question, but I want to answer this one. What does it mean that Cody has publicly disparaged his church elders? That was a line in the sand. I was really surprised that Robin allowed him to do that. Very surprised, because she feels like a 1 foot in, 1 foot out person to me, and always wants that chance to go back if she wants to. That was a pretty clear line in the sand.
He said BS, that they're full of nothing but BS. So
Yeah. And the other men that feels challenging to them. So, but yeah, so thank you guys
So
all. What?
they would probably call him before the council and say,
Yeah.
what did that mean? And
He'd probably be disfellowshipped and have to do some time working his way back in, humbling himself.
he'd probably have to say, I will pay a full tithe for a full
Yeah.
year.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kelly.
So we're going to post this on YouTube. I don't edit it. I just post the whole thing raw. If anyone wants to go back and take a look at it, if you just joined us, thank you so much, William. And then I'm going to create an event for our next live. So like I said, if you guys want to register for that, and then I do have a link tree in my bio on my TikTok page that will take you to my YouTube, where you can see the previous podcasts that I've made, and then also Instagram account
Which
as well.
answers a lot of the questions you guys were asking.
Yeah, and we'll be creating some more podcasts here soon.
Yep.
Yeah, we just kind of got started on these lives, and they've been so much fun. So we haven't done an actual podcast for a minute.
And you have asked questions of her. She goes in and answers those questions on.
Yeah.
She'll see a good question, then she'll just give her opinion on.
Yeah.
Or what.
Yeah. So if you guys throw any questions on any of the TikToks that I do, as I'm going through, I'm trying to pick like certain questions, ones that I see a lot. Gail Stewart subscribed. Thank you so much. Yeah, I started a subscription thing because we're getting so many questions that I want to start going to the subscribers. I'm charging the least amount that TikTok allows me to charge, and just so that we can get some of those questions answered too. But yeah, I've been trying to answer some of those questions with new videos so that we can get to all your guys' questions.
Yeah. So she's going to try to answer all the questions that
Yeah.
the subscribers send in to her.
Yeah.
So.
So thank you
We'd
guys.
love you guys to subscribe.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. And then we will go ahead, watch the bio, and when I create that next event coming up here. So thank you. Have a great night. Oh, what?
Subwave.
Because we put a goal to try to get 10 submissions tonight. Or subscriptions.
Yeah.
So we had set a goal to get 10 subscriptions tonight.
We're learning.
We're still, we're brand new.
Yeah, we probably should have said that at the beginning.
I know, I kind of forgot about it too. It's because we're not really here to do the subscriptions. We are here to answer the questions and tell our story.
Yeah.
Talk about what it is that we went through. And so we kind of forget about that stuff.
Yeah.
But we do appreciate the support though. We really do. And we'll make sure that we are answering our subscribers' questions. They will always be a priority to us whenever we're doing the lives.
Yeah.
And we'll, I'm still learning all this stuff, so there will be other perks that come along with that too.
Yeah.
But so thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Deborah.
Yeah.
Thank you for subscribing. So let us know if you guys have any questions. You can comment on any of my videos, and we will see you guys probably Friday, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Friday.
We have no life. We're almost empty nesters. Friday nights are. Thank you so much, William. We'd love to talk to you guys on a Friday night. So everyone have a great night. Thank you so much.
See you, family.
Thanks. Yeah.